Hey everybody, it's Dominic from the Primetime Treasure eBay store and YouTube channel. Welcome back to another video. You know, if you've been following my channel for a while, you know that one of the main things I like to purchase are comic books and other types of books. However, what you may not be aware of, because I haven't focused on it much on this channel, are that I also purchase a lot of non-sports collectible cards. So these are things like Magic the Gathering cards, Pokemon cards, Yu-Gi-Oh cards. These are fantasy / role-playing based cards. I'll also buy things such as more vintage non-sports cards like Star Wars cards, or also other 1980s movie sets based cards like Rambo, E.T., Superman, that type of stuff. So with the more modern based cards though that you purchase, a lot of the times you'll see them, especially from collectors, they're going to keep them in these little boxes like this. And if you open the box, you're going to see that there's obviously a bunch of cards in here. It'll fit hundreds of cards in there. And you know, sometimes you'll find just one of these, or you might find a whole ton of them that you wind up purchasing at once. Now, what I would advise you to do while you're there is to obviously, you know, look at them. You can't look at every single one, because if there's like thousands of them. But also, one thing you might forget to do is give them a good sniff, because a lot of times they come from the home of smokers, and you might not realize it. They all look great, right? They're in, like, you know, I'll take these out for example just to show you some. You know, they might be in mint condition. You know, they really look nice. They got nice sharp corners. They're nice and glossy and colorful and everything like that. So they look perfect. And so you make the purchase, but then when you get home and you take them out and you say to yourself, what is that smell? And then you investigate. Ooh, wow. It smells really bad, like smoke. Not an uncommon problem, believe it or not. A lot of people who collect these types of cards are younger adults who smoke. And so they don't even realize it, because their house smells like smoke and they smell like smoke, that their cards smell like smoke. So they don't even think to tell you. Now, what to do with selling cards that smell like smoke? There's a few lines of thought on it. One, which I don't really agree with, is that if you're selling them to somebody, that you don't need to disclose that they smell like smoke, because the person is paying for the cards and to use the cards and to play with the cards and to look at the cards, and you're not selling it to them to smell the cards. Well, that's technically true, but who wants to play with a set of cards that smell like smoke, especially if you're not a smoker? So I don't want that smell emanating up from the cards as I'm playing with them. So I would definitely want to know that, and I don't want to sell them to somebody knowing it has smoke on it, a smoky smell on it, and not letting them know. Then again, if you disclose that they have a smoke smell in your listing, the chances that they're going to sell are very low, unless they're purchased by another smoker. But still, chances are people are not going to want to buy cards that smell like smoke. So how could you get the smoke smell out of the cards? Now, while I know a ton about comic books, and I know some about the cards, I'm not you know, an expert in the cards. There's someone who lives locally, who I talk to a lot, who is really an expert in these cards. And I actually purchased a bunch from him. And I was talking to him one day, and I said, hey, you know, when you buy cards, if they ever have a smoke smell in them, I go, how do you get the smoke smell out? Because he does the same thing I do. He goes around, he buys them up in bulk and stuff like that. And he said, you can't. He says, you're really, you know, you're stuck pretty much if they smell like smoke. He's like, I've tried everything. I can't get the smoke smell out. So I took that as a challenge, and I tried all sorts of different things. And one of the things I tried is I took the cards out and I put them in a bin that I filled with baking soda. And it didn't work, or baking powder. No, it was baking soda. Sorry, baking soda. Put the baking soda in a bin, put the cards in it. Did not work. I kept them in there for days. I thought that might naturally take the smell out, but it didn't. Now that might work to take the smell out of other things, but for the cards, it definitely didn't work. So I kept scratching my head, and finally came up with a system that I wanted to share with you that works. And proof that it works is not only me telling you about it, but then I shared it with this person who I said is an expert in cards, and he was a little skeptical, but he tried it out himself, and he said, wow, he goes, this actually works, I can't believe it. So now he's using it if he ever gets any cards that smell like smoke. Obviously you want to try not to get things that smell like smoke, but you know, this is in case you wind up making that purchase and now you have to deal with the situation. So here's what I suggest you do. You go out and you buy a bottle of Febreze. I talked about this recently. This is a good friend of yours. Make sure you keep it on hand. It costs about $5.50 at the grocery store for a nice big bottle. And you are going to, this is actually a brand new one, so I don't even know if it's open, but let's see here. Yep, okay. So you're going to just lightly spray a paper towel with the Febreze, just like that. Just lightly spray it. Okay, so you're not drenching it, you're not soaking it, you're just getting it wet enough or damp enough so that it has that nice smell on it. There's different sorts of scents, but I just just use a regular scent. Okay, so it'll have a nice smell on it, nice and damp. And now here's the thing, don't put the cards in this while it's damp, because then you are going to wet the cards and you're going to damage them. But you spray it and you set it to the side and you let it dry, and that won't take too long to do. Well, it could take like a half hour or so to dry or less, but once it's dried, okay, now you have it like this. This is a dried one, so you can see it's not wet, it's not damp anymore, but if you smell it, it still smells really great. It has a nice smell of the Febreze. What you're gonna do is you are going to take a sample of these cards, so you could take like 5, 6, something like that, 7, and you're just going to take them, you're going to put them right in the middle, and you are just going to completely wrap it up like this. Close it airtight. You don't need to tape it, okay? Just like this, and you're going to just put it down. You're just going to set it down. So I'm just put it on a table down here, and you're just going to leave it for 24 hours. Now, you could run multiple sets of these at once. So you could, if you have a whole bunch of cards, you want to get them all done, at the same time, you could just keep doing this and just have a whole line of these just kind of set up. Just depends on how fast you want to process it and get it done. 24 hours go by, open this up. Now, for sure, the top ones and the bottom ones are going to smell pretty good. The ones in the middle, depends on how bad the smoke smell is. There can be times where you have to, take out the ones, for example, like let's say these ones on top and on the bottom, let's say you smell them. Okay, those smell good, so you take those out. And maybe this one here smells good, this one here smells good, but maybe there's a couple of them in the middle that, they still have a little residual smoke smell on. Well, you put those to the side and you'll just redo them in the next batch, and you'll take other ones out and you'll have a set that you'll redo, and then you'll have ones that smell good and they work well. And you'll notice when you do this that it doesn't cause any damage to the card, it doesn't wilt it doesn't wet it or anything like this, because again, it's dry. It's just going to take that smoke smell out. Again, it might take 1 or 2 tries. I can't remember one taking 3 tries. I mean, I guess it just depends on how bad the smoke smell is. But this is the only way I have been able to come up with to remove this smell safely, securely, without damaging the cards. And it's really, really very simple. And, this bottle lasts a long time. So, this will take you easily through sets and sets and sets of these cards if you run into this. So, just try that trick out the next time you run into something like this, smoky cards, and drop a comment down below. Let me know if it worked. This is something that I really think could help you out if you're in a pinch and you want to get your card to your customer smelling good and not being stinky at all. So if you like this video, make sure you hit the like button, drop a comment down below if you have a question about this method, or if you have a method that you've come up with that's worked to get the smell out of the cards. I mean, let me know. I'd love to hear it. And so would other people who are following this, following the comment threads in this video. If you want other tips and tricks related to reselling and collecting, please come to my Facebook group down below. It's the Facebook Reselling Resource Center. And make sure you subscribe to this channel for other useful tip videos and haul videos. I have almost 200 videos at this point, so I'd love to get you to subscribe if you haven't yet. The goal is to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of this calendar year. So we're at like 623 right now. So inching our way there. So if you could help me get there, I would appreciate it. And I'll see you at the next video. Thanks, everyone.